I've watched the One Direction like movie. What is it called? This Is Us. The One Direction This Is Us movie, like
Yeah.
15 times. Because every
Really?
time we'd go on a trip when we were little, Ava would just like slap it in and we'd watch it. Pretty good movie actually. Made me a fan. So
Have you seen Never Say Never, the Justin Bieber movie?
I have not. No.
I watched it in theaters.
What's up, guys? It's Brett. This is the first episode, so I'm really excited for you guys to see this. As you can see, my eyes are all messed up because I'm freaking rubbing them from my pollen allergies, but yeah, it's like that during the whole video, so sorry about that, but at least hopefully it's entertaining in other ways. My face doesn't ruin the whole thing. But regardless, yeah, I hope you enjoy. Thanks.
What's up, everyone? We're here with episode 1 with Jazz Turn, my good buddy from school up at Notre Dame. We got a few things to go over today. We're gonna talk about one of our really good albums we really like a lot,
Yes.
Process by Sampha. So I think we're just gonna get right into that. Jazz, you want to do a little introduction for yourself, or does that say it all?
I think you said it all. I'm just excited to be here.
Thanks, Jazz. Thank you. All right. Well, Process. So, Jazz, tell me, how did you first find this album?
I first found this album, I think it was from like a curated Spotify playlist back in either junior or senior year of high school. And I mean, I had never heard of his music before. So I started listening to it, and it's pretty unique. So I don't know if I loved it at first, but I just like started listening to the whole album, especially because like I just thought the vibes I was getting was pretty cool, and the album cover just drew me in, and then I just kind of got hooked, and yeah, that's how it started.
Yeah, dude, dang, I definitely feel that it's definitely very unique in the way that like it's almost like there's no other album out there like that. I mean, I know it's pretty cliche.
I've never found another album like it.
Yeah, which is awesome. I think
Yeah.
that's a huge draw to it. But just for those people who don't know out there, Sampha's album Process, it's a R&B experimental.
Yeah.
I don't know, you might recognize Sampha if you've ever heard Drake's Nothing Was the Same. He's on the song Too Much.
And
Or
4422.
and 4422 on More Life. He's also on Saint Pablo by Kanye West. So,
Really?
Oh, you haven't heard that song?
I didn't know he was on that.
Wait, do you know that song?
No.
Okay, well, it's definitely listen to it. It's the last song on what's it called? The Life of Pablo, and it is like, I mean, God status. So
Wow.
that's kind of how I actually heard. I like before he put out Process, I was listening to Sampha on like he had put out a few like singles, which are also. Do you know the song like Temporary View?
Yes. That one's good.
Yeah, so like that's a Subtract album. I don't know how to say
Yeah.
his name, but
Yeah.
dude, so I had heard him on Too Much, which is like, I mean, I love Drake, so that's a great song.
Mm.
And then I'd heard him on Saint Pablo, which is also like a freaking fantastic song. So I was just like looking for him, but yeah, that's kind of how I got into him. So what's your favorite song on the album, Jazz?
Oh, that's a hard question.
Are you not a favorite song kind of guy? Like, do you just listen to the whole album and just like, it's all good? Or
No, actually, I'm a favorite song kind of person, but I think the thing that makes me love Process so much is I conflicted with that because so many of the songs were so good, I couldn't find a favorite. If I had to give a number one in the album, I think it would be Incomplete Kisses.
Nice.
Yeah.
That used to be one of my favorites. I actually my least favorite song became my favorite. So do you like the song Timmy's Prayer?
Yes. I mean, it's not my favorite, but I like it. I mean, I like the whole album.
Yeah. That song became my favorite. I love the like ending where like the whole first half of the song, people, is like this freaking like slow, like kind of build, and then the ending is just this like house beat, and you're just like, it's so sick. So
Yeah.
dude, I love that song.
Yeah.
And that song, and then I'd say my other favorite would be Incomplete Kisses there. What's it called? What's the piano one?
No One Knows Me Like My Piano.
Oh yeah.
That one, That's a sad one. Well, it's not sad, but it's emotional.
Yeah, very emotional, but
Yeah.
that's kind of why it's awesome though still.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, we can jazz. I have a question for you because
Okay.
my parents, freaking, they have this stance. They have the stance that rap music is not music. What
Okay.
would be your argument to say that rap music is music? And wait, I guess I should preface why they say that. So they say it's not music because, well, they first of all they all right. So I think part of the problem is they don't listen to rap music, so they don't understand it. So they
Okay.
say there's no melodies in it, and the rap does not always go along with the melodies of the beats and whatnot. Which I think I can see what they mean at points, but I think even when the rap doesn't go along with it, it's still music. Would you agree with that?
I would agree with you. However, I'm going to come out here with a hot take.
Oh,
I'm not going to say your parents are wrong
wait, what?
because here's
Okay,
the thing.
okay,
Here's the thing.
okay,
I agree
fair.
with you. I think rap is music. But I think
Okay.
one of the core, like strongest core values of music and art in general is that it's subjective. And I think every single person has a right to determine if something is art or, in music's case, music or not. So I disagree with your parents. I do think it's like an expressive form. I think it's music. But I'm gonna come out here and say I'm not gonna say they're wrong because I think they're in their right to say it's not. Just as I could see any form of like expression and be like, that's not art. I think anyone has a right to see something and be like, that's not music.
Dang. All right.
But
I think that's a good stance.
thank you. But I do completely disagree with that.
Yeah.
I think rap is music.
Okay. I think I normally I have that stance with almost everything, like when it's movies and stuff. And I used to be very bad at telling people like, oh, that like I hate Post Malone, and I would tell people like, you're wrong, like Post Malone's bad. And but now I realize like, well, it's just like what you think is good, like it's whatever you like. But
Yeah.
I think go ahead.
Can I comment on that?
Yeah.
Just a little side note. I didn't know you didn't really like Post Malone because personally, I it's not so much that it bugs me, but it surprises me by how many people love Post Malone. I don't get it. And this recent like Instagram story trend where people are putting up like the Bill Gates picture and the amount of people who are putting up Post Malone albums, like it shocks me. But like
Yeah.
they're entitled to their right, but like it shocks me by how many people love Post Malone like as a whole. Like
And
I'll listen to Congratulations and I'll be like, that's a fun song. But like
banger. Yeah.
putting the album up there on your story is just it opened my eyes to like, wow.
What surprises me the most is they're not even putting up like beer bongs and Bentleys. They're putting up Stony, like that first album, which
Yeah.
is like it's like really weird. And I don't know. That's yeah, I agree, Jazz. Very, very odd, but we're probably also in the minority, obviously. So
I think we could be, which is another shocking point.
yeah, very shocking. Wait, what how did we get to this? What were we just talking about?
Well, you started with rap music.
My parents. All
Oh
right.
yeah, your parents.
So I wanted to comment on what you said. I think you're right. I think they do have the right to say that, and I probably shouldn't get mad about it. And I think the problem I'm having is that I like have been affected so much by rap music and like hip hop culture and everything that like it almost seems like they're just like coming at me as like what I like know, but I know they're not. It's just what they think sounds good and sound doesn't. But it's hard for me to separate like that's everything I like. That's
Yeah.
like my thing, you know. So
I mean that's natural, right? Like
yeah, yeah.
it's natural for music to become like a part of you, and then when people don't like it, it's like that
You
hurts.
feel offended when someone doesn't
You do, yeah.
like for instance Love Actually being worse than Notting Hill actually.
That does offend me, and yeah, that really offends me.
Yeah.
We can get into that now or in a later episode.
I think that might need its own whole episode. Hugh
It
Grant
might,
movies.
honestly.
Hugh Grant movies. We'll do that one time.
I like that.
Yeah, yeah. Or movies in general. Yeah, I was just thinking. Wait, I was wondering, what is your now that I have you here? What is let me hear your voiced out opinion of 500 Days of Summer. Just a
Oh,
context.
okay.
Me and Jazz made a deal the other day. I had to watch the Grand Budapest Hotel, and he had to watch 500 Days of Summer. Both
Yeah.
our requests to each other. So I want to hear your review live.
Okay. And then can I just preface it with, after my review, will you give your little spiel on what you thought about Grand Budapest?
Sure, sure.
Okay. Okay, perfect. So 500 Days of Summer. Um, so I don't know. It started off, first of all, I never saw the whole thing where her name was Summer. Every
Yeah,
time I heard the title of the film, I just thought it meant like the season was 500 days long, which I didn't understand.
yeah.
And like,
Wait,
I don't know if
Jazz, before you start, sorry to stop you. Let's not do spoilers, all right?
okay.
If you
Yeah.
can do it without if you think you need spoilers, we'll do spoilers, but let's tell the people now.
Okay. I won't give any spoilers.
Okay.
Uh,
If well
I don't
actually
know.
if you do spoil something, I'll just go back and add a video of me at the start saying there was spoilers. So
Thank you, Brett.
yeah. Go
So
ahead.
back to my review. So that, first of all, that shocked me. That was like mind blowing. I thought that was so clever. Second of all, I this is kind of embarrassing. What's the actor's name?
Joseph Gordon Levitt.
I knew it was like three names.
Oh
I
yeah.
I haven't seen that much with him in it. I think he was in Inception, right?
Yes.
Okay. I think
He's
those are
in
the only two. Sorry?
he's in the Dark Knight Rises as well. Big Christopher Nolan guy.
He is in The Dark Knight Rises. Okay, so I've seen three movies with him now.
Yeah.
So I think it was good because I didn't really have any like idea of who he was. So kind of as the movie went along, I got really connected to his character. And I think, I don't know if people kind of take the sides of two people, because like at the end, I don't know. I feel like it's the type of movie where either you support because it's like, I don't, for people who haven't seen it, it's about a relationship. And I feel like the movie, you either support one side or the other side, and they kind of like they have their different opinions. And personally, I got really attached to Joseph Gordon-Levitt because I thought like I didn't think he was a bad guy. Like I thought he was a good character. And to be honest, I got a little frustrated with Summer at times with how she was acting. Uh, and there's this one scene. I know you said no spoilers, Brett, but this isn't
Just go
really a
for it.
spoiler.
Just go for it at this point.
It's just this awesome scene, which is kind of like a Zoom call. It just has two windows next to each other.
Oh my gosh.
It's a great scene, and it shows this party that he's going
Oh.
and it's hosted by Summer. And on like the left, it shows what Joseph Gordon-Levitt imagines it will go like, and on the right is how it actually goes. And they're
So
complete.
relatable. So relatable.
Yeah, it is relatable. I think that was one of the like best raw moments from the film, and that's what kind of just ticked. That's just like coming up to that point. It was kind of like a rom-com. Like it was all fun and games, but then after that scene, it got really emotional, and then you got like really into deep with Jordan Gordon-Levitt and like his character and his relationship with Summer. So it was just kind of like a total change and shift from the start of the movie to this part where he's trying to like, it's not just like a crush anymore. He's like in love, but he's realizing that she's not really totally in love with him. Sorry for like spoiler. I won't say how the ending happens, but I think I really liked the movie. I wasn't a huge fan of the ending just because I personally, I was kind of sad with the ending. I think it was like
Go
going on
for
a
the
trajectory,
spoilers.
and then
Just go for the spoilers. At this point, we have to. I mean,
okay, I wanted them to end up together.
yeah.
I thought it was gonna be so good. I was rooting for him the whole time, and then that scene at the end on the bench, his favorite place
Yeah.
of all the places, his favorite place. She goes there and reveals to him like who she is now, and like she's married, and that.
After the whole time, she's like, I won't, and like, she doesn't want to date someone, and then oh my gosh.
And
Screw
also, she couldn't have
screw
like
you.
exactly, and she couldn't have said that like at his workplace. She had to go to his favorite place and ruin
Yeah.
that place for him because now he's always going to think of that moment. It was just, I was so upset at the end. So
Dude. Oh.
it was just like I really liked the movie, but the ending was like, it stung.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's the point of it, though, is to sting. But also, my first viewing, I was actually kind of satisfied with the ending, just because the
Really?
whole he's still happy. Like it's kind of like you have to get like she like had an impact on his life, but like in a good positive way. But she's like getting over that and on to like the next, like still like bringing that into the next relationship. I thought that was really good. But what I
Yeah.
will say, Jazz, is the first time I watched it, I agreed with everything you just said. Now, like, I didn't watch the movie for like 2 years, watched it again, and I was like, I subconsciously became a Summer fan. And I was like, like, now a lot of things had happened in my life since then. So,
Ah,
literally, like, I, like, for some reason became a Summer fan. And the whole movie, like, subconsciously was just rooting for her. And every move she made, I was like, wow, that, like, makes sense. And there's actually, this is like a really big cult movie, kind of like
really?
like oh yeah, like huge cold movie. And so there's like so much like so many people have done like theses on this movie. It's insane. And
What?
it's yeah, and it's actually really cool if you look up about it. Now, I will say when I looked something up about it, I like it got me really sad because some of the stuff I learned just like I'm not gonna say it because I don't want to ruin the movie for you, but like it is very, very, but still like one of my favorite rom coms. And
Hmm.
Joseph Gordon-Levitt is like, have you ever seen Angels in the Outfield?
No.
Oh, Jazz, that's like a childhood movie for me. It's like
Really?
it's a baseball movie, and Joseph Gordon-Levitt is like a 10-year-old kid. Uh, but regardless, watch that if you ever have time. But
Okay.
yeah, it's just I love Joseph Gordon-Levitt, so I was very excited for that. And the story, when you're in the moment, it can be very relatable.
Yeah, I do agree. It was really relatable, and that like drew me in.
Yeah. I love how it wait, which part do I oh, I love his like when he's talking to himself while he's like well when she doesn't like him yet, like before they even know each other. The like whole
Oh
like
yeah.
sequence of him like trying to get her attention, but she like just doesn't care about
Yeah.
it. That's fantastic. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Good
Dang.
movie. If I had to give it a rating, right after my first viewing,
Mm-hmm.
I'd probably give it like 8 out of 10.
8 out of 10. Where's Love Actually on that?
Love Actually is like 9.9, 9.8. I can find very few flaws with that movie, but that's for another discussion.
Fair, fair, fair. Um okay, so did you want my Grand Budapest review now?
I did. You can say whatever you want about it.
All right, I'll keep it a little short just so we can get to one more topic after this.
Okay.
So my here's what I would say about it. I did like I said, I really did not like well, I did not like it. I just was never drawn into Moonrise Kingdom. I
Yeah.
felt I felt that like I was just it just didn't seem realistic at all in any way. But contrary to that, this movie drew me in the entire time. Like that this movie somehow he took that weird like this dude's it's Wes Anderson and he's like making all these weird I don't know, he made all those weird like views of I don't even know how to say it. Like it's just a weird looking movie.
It is weird.
He like uses like drawings and stuff all the time and he took that and made me got me sucked in. The characters were fantastic. The main dude, oh my gosh, so good.
Yeah.
Holy cow. I don't know that actor's name, but he's good in
The
everything.
actor?
Yeah.
He's Ray Fiennes. He played Voldemort in Harry Potter.
Yeah, yeah. There you go. He's in like so much stuff, so I should
Yeah.
know him. But
Yeah.
he was so good. And then I actually loved all the cast. Like there are so many good actors. I love Saoirse Rosen or however Saoirse Rosen or whatever. She's
Yeah.
so good. And then like yeah, that was just I really liked that movie. And the ending was like very satisfying. I felt like there was a deeper meaning that I wasn't getting with the whole like him being like one getting to become rich and famous or whatever. But regardless, like I thought as like a surface level a movie watch, it was really good and very captivating.
I agree. Yeah. I liked it too. It was fun. It was a fun watch.
Very fun, very fun. I feel like it was an indie like artsy movie that anyone could watch and enjoy.
I agree with that.
Yeah. It was
Yeah.
it was so fast paced too.
It was. That's what I was. He fit so much in. Like there was not a
Yeah.
dull part of the whole thing.
Oh yeah. And it was the scene I loved was their freaking when they were skiing down the hill.
Yes, that's my favorite.
Dude, that was so funny. They're like just like it was like the stupidest animation ever.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that was very good. Very good. Um, all right, Jazz. I had one more question I wanted to ask you because I've been wondering this for quite a while actually.
Yeah.
So like I've actually never talked to you about this, but it seems like an interesting part of who you are is you like Formula One. Is
I
that true?
do. This
Do you,
is true.
so do you watch Formula One?
I do. I don't know. I don't know what else to say, but yes, I watch Formula One. Right
Like,
now, it's not
go
in
ahead.
season, obviously, because
Yeah.
everything's not in season.
So like how many races do you watch a year? Do you watch the races?
I watch.
Or are
So
you a follower? Are you just a follower?
okay, so here's the thing. I was into it when I was a little kid because I used to live overseas, and like my parents would go to some races, and I would always get like
Wait,
little
what?
toys.
Wait,
Yeah.
when you lived in Sweden?
No, when I lived in Malaysia when I was really little, there was a
Malaysia.
Grand
Okay.
Prix in Kuala Lumpur, and my parents would go, and they would bring me
Oh,
back these little toys.
yeah.
So when I was little, I was really into it. And then when I lived in the U.S., I wasn't into it for a really long time. And then kind of start of freshman year of college, like last year, I started to get back into it a little bit because Netflix released a documentary about it, Drive to Survive, and I watched that, and I really liked it. So
Yeah.
then I was like super into it for the entire last season.
Dang.
So like I don't know how familiar you are with the races, but
Not at all.
so the races are on Sunday, but the majority of them, except for the American Grand Prix, the Mexican Grand Prix, the Canadian Grand Prix, and the Brazilian Grand Prix, are all in Europe or Asia or Australia. So they're all many hours ahead. So the races at my house, when I have to watch them, I usually have to wake up at like 8 on a Sunday morning and watch them. So they're great like in the summertime. During the school year, I would like watch the end of them. They have a really good like YouTube channel that posts highlights, so I would watch that too. And also with Formula One, like a really big part of it is also the practices, which they have on like Thursday and Friday. Like they're getting warmed up, and then Saturday they have the qualifying for the race, and those are like equally as watched as the race itself. Like some even argue that like qualifying is more exciting. So I'd watch that too, and that was sometimes at better times. There was a really good memory I had actually of this year in the fall. There was before like one of the football games. There was like a party in the morning, and someone had the qualifying on for the Formula One race, and I didn't talk to anyone the whole time. I was just watching the TV. So I do watch the races, and the people who are in the grid, like the 20 racers, there are some really good characters. So like following them on social media is just it's so funny. So I follow it pretty
Do you
close.
have like when you follow like so my dad and like he's always watching NASCAR, and so when I was little I was a huge Jeff Gordon fan,
Hmm.
and that's kind of what made it fun for me, like was
Hmm.
just rooting for Jeff. So
Yeah.
do you have like someone that you follow?
I mean, when I was little, I was just super into Michael Schumacher, who I don't know if you're familiar with him,
It sounds
but
familiar.
he's like the GOAT. But for the past few years, he's actually been in a coma. Or well, he got in an accident. I believe a skiing accident, and
So
he's
not even driving the cars.
no, it was not cars, no.
Oh wow.
And he was placed in a coma, but his family is very private about it.
Hmm.
So people don't really know how he is right now. But he was like my the goat when I was little. But now, like today, I really like Lando Norris.
Oh, that's a sick name.
Yeah, he's like our age, I believe. He might be 1 year older than us. So
Oh
he's pretty much like us, and he's
yeah, yeah.
hilarious. And he's a Formula One race car driver, which is the coolest job ever.
Don't they
And
make tons of money too?
they do. He's a new racer, so his salary I think is one of the lowest on the grid. But Lewis Hamilton, who's the number one, who's like the best racer, arguably, who races for Mercedes, which is the best team, he makes like $50 million a year or something. He makes a lot of money.
Holy cow.
Yeah. Because
Dang.
it's not huge in the US. It actually is pretty big in the US. But like outside of the US, outside of the US, it's huge. Like there are so many followers. So the revenue is just crazy high.
Dude, so next year in the 6, I want this on. I want to watch this.
Oh,
I
yes.
want to get into this.
You need to get into it. And so usually the first race of the season is the Australian Grand Prix, which was supposed to be March 15th, I believe. But it's all been postponed. So the season might be starting up in like the fall, hopefully. So like we can get into it right at the start of the season, and I can like tell you all about the drivers. If you are interested, before you like watch it, the Netflix documentary actually goes over it a lot, so you can get familiar with the drivers on the grid and the teams and how it works. And it's also just a really good documentary. So
Perfect.
I would recommend that.
Perfect.
Yeah.
And then I guess we'll close this out. I have one more question off of that. Why were I guess I never totally understood, why were you in Malaysia? Like why were you all these places?
So I was born in Hong Kong in China, and then I lived there for 6 months. My family lived there for like a couple of years, but I was born at the end of time there. So I lived there for 6 months, and then I moved to Shanghai, where I lived for another 6 months. And then I lived in Kuala Lumpur in Malaysia for 3 years. And then we moved to Copenhagen in Denmark for 3 years. And now I've lived in Vermont since 2007, 2008. But all of the travel was because of my dad's work. It was just business. His job like moved him around a lot, and he had a lot of work in Southeast Asia. So that's why we were in Asia.
I feel like at some point I need your dad on the show. He sounds like he has an interesting job in life.
Yeah, he's interesting. We can get him on the show at some point. Not tonight though, because he probably.
Oh yeah, no, of course.
Ruin this whole recording.
Oh yeah. Well, thank you, Jazz. For the people out there, once again, it was the album we went over today, Process. By Sampha. Great album. Listen to it. It's, if you like R&B, if you like kind of pop but not really, he's got some hip hop trap influences in there as well.
Yeah. It'll make you cooler if you listen to it also.
Yeah, so
just automatically make you cooler.
That's a guarantee. So listen to that. 500 Days of Summer, recommend. Grand Budapest Hotel, recommend. Formula One Racing, recommend.
Baby. What's up, guys? At this point, we kind of ended the interview, but then we just continued to talk, just as friends again, and got some interesting stuff. Turned back on the recording, and I think Jazz is right in the middle of telling me that. So his actual favorite movie is not Love Actually. Apparently, it's this other movie. So here it is.
In 7th grade, my middle school went to the movies to watch this movie. I don't remember the movie we saw at all. I couldn't tell you it if my life depended on it. Yeah. But I remembered in the trailers, we saw the trailer for this movie that I thought looked so good. But here's the catch. It's French. It's all in French. It's not in English.
Jazz, what movie are you telling me? Just tell me the name of the movie.
The name of the movie is The Intouchables.
Oh, wait, you've told me this. Yeah.
Have I told you?
It's like the cover is a white dude and a black dude.
Yes.
Yeah, you told me this.
They just made an English remake with Kevin Hart, and I haven't even seen it because it looks so amazingly awful and disrespectful. But the original, like, you need to watch it, Brett.
Is it a comedy?
It is everything in one. You laugh, you cry, you dance, there's some romance. There's everything. It's so cool. And I have such a vivid image of seeing the trailer before the movie. And then one day in 8th grade or 9th grade, it was on Netflix, and I watched it with my parents, and it was amazing. So right after that, I bought it on iTunes on my computer and my phone, So I own it, and I have it. I make sure I always have it downloaded. So if I ever want to watch it, I do. I've seen it at the most random times, and I've also seen it probably like 10, 15 times in the past 3-4 years.
What?
It's
Oh
so
my
good.
gosh. All
But
right.
it's in French.
Is it still on Netflix?
It's not.
Okay.
So
Is it on anything?
illegally, maybe.
All right. I might have to illegally download it.
You don't have to
tonight.
watch it yet. Because also I don't want it to be something you rush into. You gotta like
What? It's a movie.
it's just for me, it's like a big part of me.
Okay.
Like if I was like a movie, the outside shell of me is Love Actually. And that's like I will publicly tell anyone I love that movie. But
Ava is cracking up at you because you are Love actually. Every time you say it, she's just cracking up. But continue, sorry.
Exactly. That's the thing. I love telling people I love that movie. But I rarely tell people that I love this movie. Maybe I think the only people in Keenan who know about it are you and Julius because he's French.
What?
And he also likes it. So it's authentic.
Okay. I mean, it's actually really highly rated on IMDb.
It is. It won so many awards, but no one knows about it until Kevin Hart made a remake, and he butchered it. I haven't seen it, but I know he butchered it, and it was so disrespectful.
Dude, you're really worrying me with this like candle in your face right now. It looks like it's just gonna burn your head off. But okay, yeah, I will watch it. I'm gonna watch it tonight. I'm gonna do it tonight.
If you want to.
Like I have time. I've been watching movies every night, so I'll watch it tonight.
It has a great soundtrack.
But
yeah, it does.
Okay, that's always huge. I love a good soundtrack. Ratatouille, I love that soundtrack.
Ooh, yes, my favorite Pixar movie.
Hey, that's my favorite Pixar movie.
Yes, thank you.
Dude, that is the best one. I agree.
It is the best one.
Okay, so everyone's going to tell you that the scene from Up, the montage, is the best scene, right? In all of Pixar. Great scene, don't get me wrong.
I don't even like Up that much.
Okay. Well, okay.
Sorry, keep going.
All right, sorry. That's like a huge blow to just take in real quick. But
I mean, it's like top 10 Pixar movies.
There's like 15 or 20, right?
It's top 10.
Okay, fine. But the Ratatouille scene where what I forget the critic's name, whatever his name is, when he is like at the end, he's saying his review and you see Remy just walking around Paris. That is like my favorite Pixar scene ever. I love that scene.
Yes. Thank you.
Yes. I'm so happy that you said that.
That I love Ratatouille.
Yeah. No one else has ever agreed with me that that's the best. So.
No one else agrees with me when I say it.
Yeah.
I always say like Toy Story or something.
All right. Well, okay, but you can't say it like that. Toy Story is so good. Like, that's okay.
I mean, it's good, but like, here's the thing. Toy Story is a movie I loved when I was 10. But now, it's not like, I don't get excited to watch it. Okay. Ratatouille is something anyone can watch, and it's amazing.
Okay. Okay, I think anyone can watch Toy Story, and it's amazing, in my opinion. But I see your point that I've seen Toy Story so many times that it's kind of lost its luster a little, maybe? Is that what you're saying? Or are you just saying you just don't like it as much?
I just think Ratatouille is a sexy movie.
I'm not sure what that means, but okay.
It just draws people to it. Like, you can't resist it.
I kind of get what you're saying there then. I would say the quote-unquote sexy part of it is like just the like atmosphere of it and like the
soundtrack. Music.
Oh, dude, that one song, I don't know. Yeah, Ava's singing it.
I think I hear it.
You hear what she's saying? Yeah. That song is so good. So very definitely, good, I would agree with you there. Yeah, no, I agree. But I'll watch The Untouchables tonight. I will.
If you don't like it, like, maybe, I don't know.
What? Lie about it?
I'm not going to say lie about it. Just maybe don't tell me.
Okay. I will. If I don't like it, I just won't talk to you at all tomorrow, all right?
I've probably cried most of that movie than any other movie. But I also don't cry during movies.
Okay.
Actually, that makes me sound unemotional. I don't watch
does
sad
it?
movies
Does
that
it?
often.
Okay, fair enough.
Only movies I've really cried through was that one and Shawshank Redemption, maybe.
Really? I guess, what part did you cry in during Shawshank?
I was young. I don't think I understood the whole meaning. I think I just cried for the sake of it.
I mean, there's the one part where, like, with the old guy, it's pretty sad. But other than that,
Yeah.
I
Okay.
mean,
I think that was
it's pretty,
definitely
like,
part.
redemptive and, like, good. Is redemptive a word? I don't know. But
It's in
I
the
feel like
title.
it's happy. Redemption, but redempted.
Ah, yeah. That's right.
We'll go with it.
Yes.
But yeah, thanks for tuning in, Jazz.
Thanks for having me, Brett.
Yeah. So everyone, have a classy day out there. Let's
Have
go.
a classy day.
Yeah.